I was going through some social media stuff this morning, responding to comments, that kind of stuff. By the way, you should go follow me on the Red app. I'm actually getting decent subscriber numbers over there, and I'm thinking about publishing more long form content in the way of like how to play videos, especially for the games that I have coming out this year, and bigger world building tips and stuff like that. So you should go check it out. But back to the original topic. I was going through some comments, and I noticed on one of my rules clarification videos, someone responded, well, just rule zero, whatever. Which, not really helpful. And someone responded without me having to step in and was like, this isn't about rule zero. This is about someone asking for a rules clarification. They wanted to know what the rule is. That's why this video exists. This is explaining rules as written. Just saying rule zero doesn't really answer that question. And then they responded with something that I think is actually rather interesting. The person who said rule zero to begin with said, I was interpreting this initial question as, was the GM right in making this call? To which the answer need not be, well, this is the rule as written. It can just be, well, did you have fun? And honestly, I get it. That's a perfectly valid take. It's just, let me pull back the curtain a little bit on why I want to talk about this, because I love rules as written. And a lot of times the content I make on all of my social medias is about rules as written. It's about rules clarifications. It's about what is the actual rule. And I think sometimes people can get my rules lawyerisms and other rule lawyerisms twisted. They can think like, oh, if you don't play by the rules, you're doing it wrong and you're having a bad time. And meh, 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 meh. Rules are only as important as you think they are. In other words, Rule 0 says, discard the rules you don't like, keep the rules you do, but ultimately these are games. Games must have rules. The rules serve purposes. Otherwise, you're better off just doing it as freeform improv, which is totally fine. Freeform improv is amazing, but that's not what's on the tin. The tin says role-playing game. A game needs rules to bound its improv. So when I offer rules as written advice, it is because that is the shared language we've agreed to on the tin. If we are both playing 5e, we have agreed the rules of 5e matter. Now, whether or not you think all of the rules matter, or I think all of the rules matter, that's a session 0 conversation. That is a rule 0 conversation. That could be tailored. The rules can be tailored to fit each table the best way that they can be. I will never make a rules clarification or a rules as written video with the intent of saying your fun is wrong if you don't play it this way. I do make them with the intent of clarifying the rules because I think, for me and a lot of people, the rules matter. It helps make play streamlined. It helps give us a common shared language and a reliability in how we are doing improv together. So ultimately, in a conversation about rules as written, the idea of rule 0 still isn't that helpful, but I do understand the sentiment of ultimately, as long as you are having fun, you are playing the game correctly.